In 2026, branding your telehealth company is more important than ever. Hundreds of new competitors are entering the space, from Amazon with 1 hour delivery to brands using AI to create thousands of fake doctor ads. That means standing out is no longer optional. So, as someone who's worked with and audited over 50 telehealth brands, I'll break down the 3 psychological principles behind the most premium ones so you can apply them to your own business and stand out from the sea of competitors. And so, now before even going into the first principle, let's just have a quick definition of what a brand actually is and what it actually means. Because branding is obviously a buzzword, and I just want to make sure we're completely on the same page about it. So the definition is literally, well, the word originates from this Old Norse word brander, which is basically, funnily enough, almost the same as my last name. So I picked a good name and good industry to work on. But this means to burn, and it stems from the ancient brutal agricultural practice of using a hot iron to sear a unique permanent symbol into a livestock animal's hide to prove ownership and deter thieves. So here you can see this is what brand actually means, literally, and this is where it comes from. And in a funny way, it's basically the same still, because brand is all about associations. It's about what people associate your brand with, and branding is about intentionally shaping those associations for your telehealth brand in this case. So you want to mark your business with this kind of symbol, with this kind of overall feeling association, that when they see your brand, when they see your logo, when they hear about you, when they remember you, they think about certain thing, which is usually something positive. The association you want to build is something positive towards you, towards your brand, something that makes them want to be with you, be associated with you, and shop from you, and so on. And obviously telehealth is all about trust, which is why it makes sense for telehealth brands to associate with premium cues, because premium builds trust in the business. Now, how do you implement premium branding? That's the question. That's what I'm going to be kind of going into right now. The first step is design. And design is one of the fastest ways people decide whether your brand feels credible or generic, because that's the first thing that they kind of see before even reading about anything, before even having time to process anything else on the page or on whatever they're looking at. And you want to make customers think, if they put this much intention and effort into design, I wonder how good their service is. And this is a quote from a good friend of mine. So a good example is one that we recently implemented for our client Effecti, this full rebrand. And you can see here the before design and then the after design soon. So the before design, this is an email. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't premium either. And it didn't really fit the design of their new website they launched, because this was aligned with their old website. You know, it doesn't leverage the halo effect of like associating you with something premium. It doesn't use enough white space here, and is more stylist than clean. And by the way, we were actually the ones with my company, CrowTrigger, who also designed these old emails. So we just changed them when the old site switched to the new rebranded site. And we decided, okay, now we want to do the whole rebrand to align with the new website and become more premium. So in here, I'm only giving shit to myself, basically. Now, after the optimized design for premium, here you can see, also designed by our team. It's modern, polished look, lots of white space. There's these simple elements, icons and everything that makes it feel more premium. It leverages the halo effect, and it looks highly intentional. So this is what we came up with compared to the old one. Now, they keep this consistent across the whole funnel. So if you look at their website, it has the same premium design feeling, the language. And then if you look at their ads, also the same kind of style there. So design consistency is imperative because inconsistent design is one of the biggest ways customers lose trust, and people don't trust inconsistency. Now, second step when it comes to premium branding is the tone of voice itself. And tone of voice is obviously where many of the brands mess this up, because telehealth isn't e-commerce, and still yet many brands are writing like they're selling bamboo socks or whatever type of clothing or t-shirts or so on. In telehealth, that's destroying the trust quite fast, and it makes the brand feel cheap. So if you're just shouting, here's 20% off, here's flash sale, here's urgency, act before it's too late, etc., as in many other industries, you're not really delivering for the audience that is actually looking for a medical treatment, a prescription, and stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying this wouldn't work at all for telehealth brands, because this still does work, obviously, like offers. If somebody's anyways planning on buying from you and they have options, if you have a good offer, obviously that's going to help people convert. But it doesn't mean that it should be the main thing that people associate your brand with. And if that's the main thing they associate your brand with, usually you're fighting against the cheapest options like Amazon, who already entered GLP space. And it's not an easy game to win unless you're at the same scale as these huge companies are. So just to drive my point across, imagine if your doctor came up to you and said, unfortunately, you've been diagnosed with obesity, but oh boy, do I have the solution for you. Right now, we're running a 25% flash sale for GLP-1, but hurry because this offer only lasts for another 24 hours. Now, again, granted, we do still run these and they still do perform. But if this is all you do, if you don't have a good customer support, if you don't have a proper funnel in place, don't have expectation setting, you might be able to get some of these patients in the door, but you're getting refunds, you're getting bad feedback, you're getting negative word of mouth, and eventually you're just getting into a negative flywheel that eventually kills your business. So instead, again, a little bit maybe sharp example, but you should write something like this. Patients on your GLP-1 plan often tell us fatigue is their biggest challenge around week 6. Your provider put together a note on why that happens and what tends to help. And then you can even, a side note, cross-sell them to another treatment that maybe helps with those side effects, just fatigue, or there might be NAD, or there might be MICB12 that might be able to help with that as well, and so on. And this is not pushy, this is not salesy, this is not fear-driven, and this tends to work if you want to build trust for people who are looking to buy from you medical treatment. Now, the third step here for premium branding is partnerships. How can you kind of borrow the branding from some famous authorities, people who are looking to buy from you actually already trust and know and like? That's where you need partnerships for. So you can partner with premium people, and customers will associate your brand with premium cues. So that means you can partner with clinicians, testimonials. You can offer testimonials from your customers. You can partner with experts. You can partner with influencers. Like as an example, these luxury brands that have already been doing this for years and years. Here's a couple of famous examples. And then obviously, if you look at the telehealth specifically, this is what also wrote it recently when they partnered with Serena Williams. And the leverage here is they're paying for a status, audience, and trust Serena, in this case, for Ro has built. So you can see here, Ro has seen a sharp increase in customers following its new campaign with tennis star Serena Williams. And, it's not just one-time spike. They've kept this partnership and this influencer collaboration ongoing, and they've been getting a lot of traction with it. They had the Super Bowl ad with Serena and so on. Now, if you can't afford an A-list celebrity, brands can also use micro-influencers and experts, and then focus more on volume over just like one huge influencer. So that's another alternative you can look into if you don't have the budget to go for somebody like Serena Williams, which obviously not many brands has. Now, email is a big part of the premium experience. After someone enters your funnel, email is often where the trust is either built or broken, because it's the way where you nurture these people, you communicate about what's happening next, what's coming next, what are the side effects potentially if you are like starting the treatment, what is the overall expectation of the results, what should you know about, when is the treatment arriving, etc. It's a full thing about communicating, educating, but also just giving the information about what is happening logistically with your treatment if you, for example, bought from them already. And so if your telehealth brand wants to look premium, speak premium, and retain more patients, lifecycle marketing, email, SMS, etc. has to match the brand. So the look needs to be there, the speak and the word needs to be there, and then there needs to be proof as well. Now, if you want to copy our strategy when it comes to helping these brands reach this more premium positioning, you can click the video below or on screen right now, and I'll hope to see you in that one.